It's time for the No BS Sports Zone podcast. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the No BS Sports Zone, episode 15. We're going to get started. We're not going to have that many topics today, but I want to talk about a few things. Let's start with the NBA Finals. Now, the Golden State Warriors are down 2-1 against the Boston Celtics. I just think that Draymond is kind of at peace with himself. I think he sees the ending of his career in the next maybe 2 to 3 years. And, he's had his championships. He's got his money. I think he sees the bigger picture other than basketball. Here's the problem with that, ladies and gentlemen. You have a guy in Steph Curry who wants more. You got a guy in Klay Thompson who wants more because, let's just be honest, Draymond Green is a great player, but no one will ever look at him as one of the great players of all time. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are going for all-time status right now, okay? Especially Steph Curry. He's going for all-time status. He wants to tie LeBron James at 4 rings. He wants to get to 5, 6 rings. That's what he wants to do. That's why Steph Curry is playing his heart out as we speak in these NBA Finals. However, here's the other problem. You're dealing with a Boston team who I call soft. Yes, I call Boston soft. But what I think happened is that the Golden State Warriors have kind of underestimated this team in a sense. The Boston Celtics are a lot tougher than we think they are, okay? And I think they can get tougher. I just think that they needed to be egged on by Draymond Green. Not saying I don't think the Golden State Warriors will still not win this series, but it's going to be a lot harder than the Golden State Warriors thought it was going to be. Now, let's talk about some stats here. I think they're very important. Everybody talks about Draymond in the podcast. They talk about Steph Curry having too much on his shoulders. This is what this really comes down to, folks. Rebounds last night, 47-31. When you beat somebody on the boards, 47-31, you out-hustle them and you take their soul. They snatched their soul last night. 47-31. That is big if you're the Boston Celtics. Now, points in the paint. Here's another one. 52-26 in the way of the Boston Celtics. You out-rebound somebody, 47-31, and then you have 52 points in the paint. That is a 26-point difference, ladies and gentlemen. That's huge. Talk about second chance points. 22-11. That's an 11-point difference. Think about this. This is a 16-point game. The Boston Celtics won this game 116-100. 11 second chance points. That is huge. Now, the last stat I have for you, the biggest lead. The Golden State Warriors' biggest lead last night, and this is telling, folks, was 2 points. You know what the biggest lead for the Boston Celtics was? It was 18 points. Here's the thing. The Celtics are a team. And I think we are in the new era of the non-super team. Because no offense to Jaylen Brown or any of these other guys, Jason Tatum is a superstar on this team. The rest of the guys are just filling parts. Not saying that Jaylen Brown's not a superstar. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this team kind of gives me Detroit Pistons feel. You know what I'm saying? They give me the feel of the Detroit Pistons. Very good defense, excellent defense. Coaching, outstanding. They are physical, and they come to play every single night, just like those Detroit Pistons used to do. And here's the thing. I know people don't like to bring this name up a lot, but LeBron James is gone. He's been gone for a few years out of the East. Who do you really have to deal with in the East if you're the Boston Celtics over, let's say, the next 3 to 4 years, except for Milwaukee? But we saw what they did to Milwaukee. Now, one of their superstars from Milwaukee was out, and we get that. We get that Chris Middleton was out. But Boston is such a team now. They're so physical. After everything happened the last few years, their coach stepped down, went to the front office. You had some other changes. You bring in Coach U. He is doing his thing. He has brought an intensity to this basketball program. So I feel that if Boston can keep this momentum over the next few years, they should definitely win a championship. I don't think they're going to do it this year. However, I do believe that they can keep that physicality going. As I said, they can continue to play as a team. Nobody gets any big egos, etc. We should see a Boston Celtics team that should win, in my opinion, in the next 5 years, at least 2 championships. I think that they are that good. Now, let's go to the next topic at hand. The New York Rangers against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, we all know about the New York Rangers. We all know that they are the darling of the summer, right? You're going against the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that's won a few championships, a team that has been very dominant. Now, we look at the Rangers. Won the first game 6-2. Second game, won 3-2. They lost game 3, 3-2. I believe it was in the last minute. I watched the game, and I think I walked away and didn't get to see the end of it, but I saw the final score. Last game, the Lightning came out 4-1. It's what I expected. It's like I told one of my New York Ranger friends, right, Ranger fans, who was a friend of mine. I said, look, man, they're going to have to win game 1 and game 2. Bottom line, the Rangers did what they were supposed to do. They're dealing with injuries. The Lightning are dealing with injuries. We get that. But the Rangers in game 2, they were up. They were up, what, 3-1? And then you had an empty net with like the last, 5-6 minutes of the game. The Rangers couldn't take advantage of it. And what did Tampa do? Tampa got a goal, and they were threatening. They were threatening. Within the last minute, they were threatening to get another goal. And I said right then and there, this is going to go 7 games unless the New York Rangers lose tonight. If they lose tonight, let me say it like this. If the Tampa Bay Lightning go into Madison Square Garden and win tonight, this series, ladies and gentlemen, is over. Because ain't no way in hell that the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to go home for Game 6 and that the New York Rangers are going to beat them. This ain't the Carolina Hurricanes, all right? They're not going to beat them. They're not going to beat them in Tampa, and that's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. That's a Vince McMahon guarantee. You are not beating them in Tampa. So if you're the Rangers, you got to come out tonight. You got to come out fast. You got to come out strong. If you're Igor, you cannot give up multiple points in the first period or in the second period. Because if Tampa Bay goes in the third period, they're up 4-0 or 4-1, they're not going to lose this game. I don't care if it is New York. So if you're the Rangers, you got to come out strong. You got to be tough on your power plays. You got to have good goaltending. So defense, power plays, and good goaltending. If you do those things, I believe that the Tampa Bay Lightning will be headed back to Tampa in Game 6 down against the New York Rangers. Now, next topic, we're going to talk about our early top 5 candidates for the Heisman Trophy. On number 5 on the list, I have Tyler Van Dyke, University of Miami quarterback. At number 4, I have Spencer Rattler, quarterback from South Carolina. I think he's going to do some big things going from Oklahoma to South Carolina. Number 3, I have Trayvon Henderson. He is the running back out of the Ohio State University. I think he's going to have a big season for that team. At number 2, I have CJ Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State. I think he's going to have a terrific year. And at number 1, I think Bryce Young goes back-to-back quarterback out of the University of Alabama. Now, let's go to our final topic of the day. We're going to talk some baseball, and we're going to talk about a hot topic here, folks. And we're going to talk about a team that everybody knows, a team that's won 20-plus championships, the benchmark of what baseball is. Let's be honest. The New York Yankees. Now, Aaron Judge is 30 years old, and he wants a big contract. I think that they were saying somewhere in the ballpark of $300 million to even $500 million, $500 million for those who don't know. I look at Aaron Judge and I think to myself, if you're the New York Yankees, are you going to pay him? They offered him $30 million, right? They offered him $30 million, turn it down. I get it. Listen, you want to have the amount of money that you want. And if he thinks he's worth more than $30 million a year, what can I really say to him? I'm not going to put a value on what another man thinks that he's worth. But I will say this. If you're the Yankees, do you think that you're going to be able to sustain this and win championships? The Yankees are about championships, folks. The Yankees are about building something that is bigger than themselves, being the creme de la creme of Major League Baseball. It ain't the 90s no more. You're not really going to win championships off buying players. It's through a farm system. It's through developing your players. I wouldn't pay Aaron Judge. I think he's a great player. I think that he has done some great things. His career high in home runs going back to 2017 was 52. But since then, 27 home runs, 9 home runs, and 39 home runs. He's got 22 currently, and we haven't even got to the All-Star break yet. However, He's a power hitter. You know, we don't sometimes with power hitters, you know, their power can go, especially as they get older. Not saying that he's not decent in the outfield. He is. But at the same time, are you really going to pay a guy this much money, especially knowing the history in the last few years? I mean, look at some of the contracts that have been given out. Look at Bryce Harper. Yeah, he's won an MVP or so, but what's really happening in Philly right now? Are they winning anything? Are they going to the playoffs? Probably not. Look at the Mike Trout contract. Yeah, he's won some MVPs and, you know, he's got some great stats, but every time you look, the man's hurt. Every time you look, the Angels are not making the playoffs. Madden just got fired. A damn good manager. So if you're the Yankees, do you want to be in this position in the next 5 years saying, hey, man, we just gave Aaron a 10-year, $50 million per year deal, $500 million in 5 years. He's broken down. He can barely stay healthy. He can't stay on the field. You know, like I said, his body's breaking down. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So you have to ask yourself, folks, if you're the Yankees, wouldn't you rather trade this guy in the offseason? Wouldn't you rather do something where you can get some compensation back? Because there are plenty of teams out there who would trade for Aaron Judge for the splash aspect of it. But what are they really getting long term? Baseball is going to make money, bottom line. But if you're the Yankees, going back to 2009, you've won one championship since then. That's not the Yankee standard. We understand that through the 80s and a little bit through the 90s, they had their struggles, but then championships in the 90s, you know, into the early 2000s, and then you go to 2009 where they win the World Championship, haven't won since. You know, today's game is about, again, building a farm system, having a collection of players. In my opinion, today, if you do not have sustainable, I'm going to say this again because I just said, but I'm going to say it again so everybody can hear me. If you do not have sustainable pitching, you will not win a championship. If you don't have young players who can step up at some big moments, because guys are going to get hurt and you're going to have big time moments where you're going to need players to step up, you're not going to win a championship. And a championship is what's most important in New York. Am I correct? So, yeah. So if I'm the Yankees, I'm not paying Aaron Judge. When he turned down that $30 million, I would say, look, we're done with you in a sense. We're going to trade you. We're going to get some parts back. You can go somewhere else. You can be an attraction. You can break down over there. Because at 6'7", 282 pounds, he's going to break down, folks. He's going to break down eventually. You know, I believe he hasn't even played a full 162 game season yet as a pro. Even going back to 2019, he only played 102 games. So is it worth it? I don't think so. Will the Yankees think differently? Probably, but just my opinion, if I'm the Yankees, I do not pay this guy, and I move on and just build a younger team, continue to build my pitching staff, and continue to dominate the AL East for years to come. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the No BS Sports Zone presented by Rob Johnson Media.